Hi, it's Leslie from loveleslie.com, and I wanted to share my Ancestry.com results with you. I took a test several months ago through 23andMe, and I did a review on that. I'll link the video to that below. And I just wanted to compare the two companies because I had a couple of friends that went through Ancestry, and I just wanted to see what the differences were, if there was any new information. And I had already made an Ancestry account because they have an amazing genealogy section with documents. So I have a worldwide subscription through Ancestry, so I can search newspapers and military records, and birth certificates, baptisms, all of that stuff. And it's helped me build my family tree pretty far back. Almost every branch goes back to at least the mid 1800s. One branch goes back to the late 1500s, and then it stops with my great grandfather. I'll get into that a little later. So I'll start with my results. My ancestry wasn't that surprising, and it was pretty similar to 23andMe, a little different. But my largest percentage was Sub-Saharan at 58%. My next largest was Europe with 40%. And then I had 1%, basically 2% Asian, and that was broken down. 1% South Asia, which is like India, Pakistan. And then the other 1% is Caucasus, or Caucasia, which I actually thought was Europe, and it turns out that it's the region, it's the border between Europe and Asia. So it's countries like Armenia, Turkey, Russia's in there too. So that was interesting. I had shared before, growing up, I still get asked if I'm part Asian, and it's really bizarre because everyone in my family is black or white, or combination for the most part, black and white, and so I didn't know of any Asian. So for 2% to show up, I guess there's something there that people are seeing. So the countries then, they break them down, the countries within the continent. So with Africa, my two largest groups were Ivory Coast, Ghana at 24%, and Cameroon at Congo at 22%. And I know that my great-grandfather, he's from Cameroon, but some of this is obviously, and that's on my maternal side, some of this is on my paternal side. Both my parents are African-American mixed with European, and so, yeah. So then some of the trace regions were Nigeria at 5%, Benin, Togo at 3%, Senegal at 3%, and it looks like South Central hunter-gatherers and Mali, they both have 1%. And then Europe actually has the greatest chunk from one area falls under Europe at 35%, Great Britain. And I definitely have family that I'm aware of in Great Britain, so that doesn't surprise me. My maternal great-grandmother, she's English and Irish. And then on my father's side as well, they have a lot of European in them too. So some of the trace regions were Finland at 2%, West Europe at 1%, and then oddly enough, Ireland shows up at 1%, and Italy, Greece at 1%. What's really interesting with the Finland, it's 2%. So some of these trace regions that have really small amounts, like 1 or 2%, I blew them off initially, but then I took some time to run my raw DNA through sites like GED Match, and then also I really combed through my DNA relatives I have on Ancestry, but I did more so on 23andMe, and I had one cousin that kind of stuck out because she was from Finland. She had a Finnish name, but she was a distant cousin. So to see the 2% Finland show up, it's like, okay, somebody must be from Finland. So hopefully I can connect that dot. And yeah, I guess it wasn't really a surprise, like I said. And the numbers weren't that far off from 23andMe. I had some unspecified on 23andMe, and they included it on Ancestry under my European, like 3% additional, and the African's about the same. I think it was like 57 on 23andMe. It's 58 here. So let's see. They don't give you your haplogroup on Ancestry. They do give it to you on 23andMe. So that's interesting, just to know what it is. Mine happens to be H6A1, which has its roots in Arabia and Europe. And like example populations are French and Czech. And then what else? Oh yeah, also 23andMe will tell you how much Neanderthal DNA you have. And I had right at 2%. It might have been 1.9 or 2% right there. I think that, and the average range is like from 1 to 4, so I was like right in the middle. And Ancestry doesn't tell you that. So, I mean, that's just fun stuff to know. But again, Ancestry has such a great built-in resource with all of the documents that you can search. It's really easy to then, build your tree, plug in, see where some of your ancestry may come in. I hope that makes sense. What else? Yeah, I guess this is going to be shorter than my other video. If you want to check out more details of my previous experience, although I did share some of it with you in this video, on 23andMe, you can click the link below. I paid $99 for this test, but as soon as I paid for it, I saw that they were having a special for $79. So my results came in within a week. My husband did it, and his took about a month. So they say up to 6 weeks, and I guess it just depends. But I'd recommend them. They definitely gave me, they were more specific with breakdowns as far as countries, because with 23andMe they just said Sub-Saharan European. They didn't really say, Ivory Coast, Cameroon, Nigeria, Great Britain, Finland, etc. So if you want details, this is Ancestry is great for that. I still would suggest running through, they do also give you your raw DNA file like 23andMe, but you need that if you want to upload to GEDmatch.com, and just to get even more information, because this site goes further back, GEDmatch.com, and they have a lot of cool programs on there, so check that out, and it's free. What else? One more thing I would suggest, I just found this new site called NutraHacker, and it is amazing. You need to have your raw DNA file, but what it does is it really breaks down your genes, and it looks for mutations, and so you can get health information. And it's really detailed, and it's really on point, just from things that I already knew about my health, and then things I kind of suspected, but it gives you a scientific explanation why, for instance, I can't drink alcohol. I have a mutation on one of my genes, and it causes, long term it could cause hearing loss. So it was just really crazy to see that. So that's NutraHacker.com. I'll also put the link in that below. And I think that's it. Drop me a comment. Let me know if you have any information, if something I said didn't make sense, or you just have knowledge. I'm really enjoying this experience of getting to know more about my roots. And I welcome your comments and questions.